From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Steve Miller reporting. The group of 7 leading industrialized nations has issued a joint statement endorsing the U.S.-led airstrikes in Syria. Charles de Ledesma has more.
The nations, which include Canada, the US and Britain, say they fully support all efforts made to degrade the Assad regime's ability to use chemical weapons and to deter any future use. They add last weekend's airstrikes were limited, proportionate and necessary, and followed only after exhausting every possible diplomatic option to uphold the international norm against the use of chemical weapons. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe spoke to reporters in Tokyo prior to his departure to U.S. President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort for 2 days' worth of talks. In addition to discussing North Korea, Abe said he plans on raising free and fair trade issues with the president. U.S. President Donald Trump's personal lawyer was forced on Monday to reveal in a New York federal court that Fox News personality Sean Hannity was one of Trump's most ardent defenders, was also one of his clients. Hannity said that he had never paid Michael Cohen, Trump's personal lawyer, for services or been represented by him, but had sought confidential legal advice from Mr. Hannity. The Kremlin says Russian President Vladimir Putin has told German Chancellor Angela Merkel that the United States, Great Britain, and France have violated international law and hurt peace process in Syria by launching an airstrike at targets in Damascus. For additional stories as well as in-depth coverage, visit our website. This is VOA News. Tuesday, Myanmar President Win Myint granted amnesty to more than 8,500 prisoners, including some identified as political prisoners. Jeff Custer has more.
Although called an amnesty, the action appeared to actually be a mass pardon, meaning it would cover only prisoners who'd already been convicted of crimes. 2 Reuters reporters, Wallo and Jaw So-u, facing a high-profile freedom of the press trial for allegedly possessing secret official documents, would not be covered under the action. One of the journalist's lawyers said his understanding was the president was only pardoning convicted criminals. Jeff Custer, VOA News.
The United States, Britain, and Australia have accused the Russian government of maliciously targeting global internet equipment for political and economic espionage. Australian Defence Minister Marise Payne said the attacks took place in 2017.
Potentially 400 Australian companies were targeted, but don't believe that there's been any exploitation of significance. The points which this reinforces for us as a government and should reinforce for all Australians is that vigilance is absolutely imperative in terms of cybersecurity.
The government said the Russian operators, which allegedly involved planting malware on internet routers and other equipment, could also lay the foundation for future offensive cyber attacks. President Trump has renewed his attacks on Jim Comey after the former FBI's director's scathing interview on U.S. broadcaster ABC. Sagar Magani reports.
After days of calling him a slimeball and a leaker, the president labeled Comey disgruntled, accusing him and others of having committed many crimes. The president tweets Comey drafted an exoneration of Hillary Clinton long before actually talking with Clinton in the email investigation. In an exclusive interview with ABC News' George Stephanopoulos, Comey says it's possible Russia has compromising information on the president, whom he believes is morally unfit for office. Sagar Magani, Washington.
A special advisor to the South Korean president says North Korean leader Kim Jong-un likely decided to put his nuclear weapons program up for negotiation to win outside rewards so he can improve his country's economy, win public trust at home, and prolong his leadership.